Why do bad trips happen on psilocybin mushrooms, on LSD, on peyote, or any other psychedelic? And the other question is, can they be prevented? Can you prevent a bad trip? Can you confidently go in and say, there's no way in hell I'm gonna have a bad trip? Let's answer the second question first. No. You can't completely at 100% with 100% confidence go in there and say, all right, I'm taking 3 tabs of acid right now, or I'm taking 5 grams of mushrooms, and I'm not gonna have a bad trip. You can't really, unless you're absolutely like next level shaman. Okay, maybe. But in most cases, you can't 100% with 100% confidence go in and say that I'm not gonna have a bad trip. You can, however, greatly, significantly raise up the probability of you having a really good trip. That's all you can do. We're inside a simulation anyway, and it's a probability based. Everything is probability based. So we work always with probability. And we can increase the probability of having a good trip and decrease the probability of having a bad trip. And we can do so significantly. And there are basically 2 main pieces, 2 main elements to raising the probability of having a good trip and decreasing the probability of having a bad trip. The first thing first is adequate preparation to the trip. Having a deep, profound respect for the psychedelic and viewing the psychedelic as a teacher. And if you're gonna meet a great teacher, if you're gonna meet somebody who you really look up to, you're gonna prepare yourself, right? If you're going on a date with your future wife, your potentially future wife, are you gonna go there stinking with your shitty socks, stinking socks, and having not showered for 3 days, and fucking your armpits can basically wipe out an entire village? That's how bad they smell. You think is that how you're gonna go if you know that this is potentially your future wife? No, you're gonna really prepare yourself, right? Probably gonna eat really good, like at least a week in advance, right? You're gonna go to the gym. You're gonna get those 6-pack abs, right? You're gonna like eat super healthy, and you're gonna shower before you go to the date, right? Put on like all kinds of cologne, have like dress as sharply as you can, right? Like that's probably what you're gonna do. You're gonna prepare yourself, and not just the day off or the day before, but well in advance. You're gonna be thinking about it, right? You're gonna be thinking about the date. It's the exact same thing. This is a date. You're meeting a great teacher. You're meeting somebody who's gonna teach you more than anybody ever taught you in this physical. Most likely, unless you've had really, 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 really great teachers in this physical dimension, you're meeting a teacher that's gonna teach you way more than any teacher taught you in this dimension. Are you really gonna just go in there without being prepared? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Adequate preparation, proper preparation for a psychedelic trip will significantly increase the chances of having a good trip. How do you prepare adequately? I've made lots of videos on this before, so I'm going to go brief into it. Everybody knows about set and setting. Pick a really good setting, okay? And here's the thing, preferably sunny. I've had 2 bad trips. I've had a lot of trips, okay? I can't even count. It's too difficult for me to count. I've had 2 bad trips. One of them was a solar eclipse, and the other one was a fucking dark, gloomy January day. Just terrible, terrible. Gloomy. I haven't seen the sun in like 7 days, 8 days at that point. Okay? Preferably sunny, a good set and good setting. Setting, we're talking about setting here. Really, I want to emphasize on sun. Pick a sunny day. Pick a sunny day. And nature or a really comfortable environment. Like if you're really comfortable in your house, I'd still pick a sunny day even if you're inside your house. Makes a difference, makes all the difference. So really good setting where you're comfortable crying, comfortable being yourself, comfortable letting out any emotions that are going to come up. And good set, which looking at this as a teacher and going in with just no expectations of what's going to happen. Like if you go to a great teacher, right? Do you have certain expectations what the teacher is going to teach you? No, you're going in there, whatever the teacher is going to teach you, you're going to take it, you're going to cherish it. You're going to think on it. Same thing. You're going to meet this great teacher. So just don't expect how the teacher is going to greet you or how they're going to teach you or whatever. Just you're going in there. You're lucky enough that you found this teacher to begin with. Right? Set and setting. Now, I just don't want to talk too much about that because that's sort of anybody will tell you set and setting. But man, really prepare yourself physically. Really. Do a 2-day fast, a 3-day fast before. Cleanse your body, cleanse your system of all the toxicity, all the toxins. Do intermittent fasting every single day leading up to the trip. And eat like a nun, eat like a Buddhist monk. Eat very healthy and eat very lightly leading up to the trip. Exercise. Go and exercise and stretch every day. Oxygenate your body. Make sure your body is well oxygenated leading up to the trip. A week, 2 weeks in advance. You should already be doing all these things anyway. But if not, take special care of your body. Special care. I'm going to emphasize on that. Special care leading up to the trip. If you treat this vehicle that you're in really good before and leading up to the trip, if you really cherish it and you really nourish it and you detoxify it and you keep it in good, positive environments and spend a lot of time in nature, you're going to be fine. Again, for me personally, the 2 bad trips that I had, sleep. I was sleep deprived on both of them. Do not be sleep deprived going into a trip. Do not be sleep deprived. If you're on 4 hours of sleep, don't bother tripping. Don't bother tripping. Bad idea. Don't. If you're sleep deprived, if you're on 9 hours of sleep, but last night you had 4 and the night before you had 5, stop. Don't trip. 1 week leading to the trip, make sure you're getting as much sleep as you need every single night, at least a week in advance. If you're sleep deprived, do not trip. There were many factors that led to me having the bad trips. One of the big factors was I was sleep deprived in both of them. For one of them, I had just came back from traveling. I was tired, I was exhausted, different time zone. And I, like a stupid idiot, tripped literally like the next day. And the other one, I was very much sleep deprived as well. And I had been working so much. I was working in the coffee shop and I was working with my friend moving furniture. And I've been working too much. Be well rested leading up to the trip. I think most of the preparation, believe it or not, is your body. It's not even your mind. Most of the preparation, when we talk set and setting, most people focus on the mindset. I would emphasize more on the body because the mindset, the positive, surrendered, letting go mindset happens as a result of a body that is in flow. If your body's in flow and it's fluid, your mind follows. Your mind is fluid. Your mind is nice. Your mind is calm. So be well rested. This is why these psychedelics are not good for recreational use. Because most of the times in recreational use, you're in a certain setting where there's other drugs being mixed in the picture, in the equation. And you know, you're more than likely not ready for it. You haven't prepared for it exactly. Like, you know, when people do recreational drugs, you know, they're out, it's Friday night, they don't care what they ate the day before or the day off, or they don't care about how they treated their bodies. They want to take it in for the moment. Not saying there's nothing wrong with that. Not at all. There's nothing wrong with anything. I'm going to be doing M pretty soon. Going to a nice concert and doing M. So no. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with using psychedelics for recreational. If you're going to use them for recreational purposes, still prepare, because you're going to have the time of your life. If you're going to a festival or something and you want to pop LSD or mushrooms or peyote, you're going to have like 5 times more fun in the festival if you've still done all your preparations and your body's ready to party and dance. You're still going to have a lot more fun. You're going to be more open to people. You're going to be more loving, more caring. Still do the preparation. Even if you're going to do this recreationally, do the preparation. Do the physical preparation. Very important to do the physical preparation. It's significant. It'll really, really like significantly shoot up the probability of having a good trip and significantly reduce the chances of you having a bad trip. Okay? So, all of that being said, back to the second question. Can a bad trip be prevented? 100% confidence? No. Sometimes there are demons that need to get out anyway, and you can do all the good physical preparation that you've done, all the mental preparation that you've done, all the setting, beautiful nature, beautiful sunny day, perfect, you're comfortable in the place, you know, you might even have a friend you really super trust, and so you're very comfortable with their presence. But if there are demons in here that gotta go, they gotta go. And they gotta go. They have to go. They have to be released. And now this is my second part of the equation. Surrender. 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 Surrender to the trip. Surrender to the teacher. You don't go up to a great teacher and you start, no, you're wrong, this is what you do. No, you sit down and you listen. This is, if you're in the presence of Bruce Lee, are you gonna like go up to Bruce Lee and be like, no, Bruce, you should be kicking like this, and no, I think you're wrong. It's like, no, you're gonna sit down and listen. Even if there are things you don't exactly agree with Bruce Lee, you're just gonna sit down and fucking listen. It's Bruce Lee, Bruce motherfucking Lee. Okay, you're gonna sit down and listen. You're gonna surrender. You're gonna let go into the wisdom of this great teacher. Even if there are certain things you don't agree with, you're just gonna sit down and you better recognize you're in the presence of a great teacher. You gotta surrender to this great teacher, to the psychedelic. You gotta surrender. So even if you're having a bad trip, and if you're crying and you know you feel like this is the end of the world and you're feeling lonely and miserable for whatever reason, and even though you've done all your preparation, just let go into that, surrender into that, because you will learn soon enough, and this will be your lesson. This too shall pass. Everything passes, good and bad, happiness and sadness, it all passes. So sit down and just surrender. The more you let go, the less of control you try to control it and say, okay, now you gotta teach me this, you gotta teach me that. It's like, imagine go to Bruce Lee and be like, Bruce, you gotta teach me this now, you gotta teach me that. It's like, no. You're gonna trust that Bruce Lee will look at you and teach you what you need to be taught in that moment. That's the exact same thing. You sit down, you learn, you listen, you flow with whatever it is that is happening in here. Plain and simple. If you're sitting with your friend and you just have this urge to get up and go somewhere else, go somewhere else. That you know, complete total flow, complete total surrender. The minute you try to control, like if you have tears coming down, then you need to cry, and you're like, no, I don't want to cry here. Like I don't want to cry. You're fucked. That's when that's where really demonic. This is when you go to hell. In these kinds of situations, this is when you go to hell. You're gonna go to hell. You're gonna have a hellish trip that might scare you the fuck away from psychedelics altogether. Is when you feel like you need to cry but you don't cry. You feel like you need to laugh but you don't laugh. You feel like you need to do something but you don't do something. No, surrender to it. Surrender to it, and it's gonna be okay. Everything's going to be okay. This is a great teacher that loves you, that has so much love and compassion for you, and wants to teach you lessons, wants to teach you things. And when you're releasing these emotions, the crying, the sadness, the anger sometimes, the frustration, the screaming, the yelling, all this crazy stuff, that's the spirit. That's a psychedelic. It sees through your energetic field, knows you exactly who you are, says you need to release these tears, you need to release these things, because that's how you're going to move forward. So you surrender to this great teacher. You let this great teacher do its thing. You raise the white flag. You say, I don't want to control anything. I don't want to control the lessons. I don't want to control my emotions. I don't want to control nothing. You just let go and surrender. And by doing that, again, significant increase in the chances of you, the probability, the chances of you having a good trip and not having a bad trip. And you can get a pretty fucking good probability. You can really, if we're in a casino right now betting, and you're betting if I'm gonna have a bad trip or a good trip, you can get to a pretty high probability, like a very significantly high probability, where you're gonna have a good trip. Okay? And that's all you can do, is just keep maximizing that probability. Like I said, sometimes there are demons that need to be released, that need to be faced. And no matter what you're gonna do, you might need to go visit hell. And if that's what you need to go and visit hell, remember the first rule of Psychedelic Club: you do not try to control Psychedelic Club. You just let Psychedelic Club do its thing. You become a part of it, one with it, and see what happens from there. So that's it, guys. Please be responsible. I should start putting disclaimers for these videos, right? As the channel gets bigger, I'll probably get more penalized for these kinds of videos. In fact, one of my videos already got penalized, LSD versus mushrooms. It doesn't even show up on the YouTube search engine. So I should start putting disclaimers to this, because really what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to raise awareness, right? Like, if you've just watched this entire video, did I in any way fucking promote the reckless use of psychedelics? Did I even promote the use of psychedelics? I'm just assuming you're watching this, you're interested in psychedelics. How much should I emphasize here on proper preparation? So that's the point of these videos. So that's my disclaimer. I'm not promoting the use of any psychoactive substances. I just want to, educate more, right? More education, less, again, it's probability, less chances of you harming yourself, more probability of you having like a deep, profound experience that's going to change your life for the better and the lives of others around you. So that's it. I love you guys. I love every single one of you. But don't forget to subscribe, or you're gonna sleep with the fishes. You're gonna have a bad trip with the fishes. So subscribe so you can have a good trip.